It's a it's a Tuesday. I feel like I'm here for a reason. Yeah, knowing it, looking at the page and everything that I've seen leading up to this, I'm very excited. So also like a little nervous because not knowing what to go into it and seeing it online and seeing people open up like, wow, how do they get so vulnerable? But yeah, to be here now is a blessing. A lot of changes, honestly. A lot of change in life recently with work, family, relationships. It's been a bit of a struggle, but luckily I've learned one thing out of it is to have like a strong support system and people, strong pillars in your life because if people will fold in tough times, then they won't be around for the good times as well. So I'm really reevaluating people in my circle, my life, and what's going on, and it's tough, but I'm seeing the benefits of it now. Yeah, ending a relationship with someone that I thought would be around for a long time, and then having to reevaluate what the future looks like, what my own values, kind of where they stand, and who who I can be vulnerable with, and yeah, it sparked like a whole nother part of everything as well, like going into therapy and getting myself all my thoughts out loud, and yeah, it's just been a journey all at once. It all happened so suddenly at the beginning of a month, and now looking back on it, it's like I could say I'm in a better place than I was before then. I've always thought about it, but I've never had a role model in my life to kind of run me through it or even explain to me what you have to do or what you may bring up from the past, because I always thought it was just about what you're going through at the moment, but in reality there's so much stuff that you bundle up from the past that you start to resurface. And like my first session, I told the therapist at the end of it that I felt 10 pounds lighter. And I don't know, I've never felt like that before, but it felt like a whole weight had been lifted off of me and I just felt relieved. And yeah, still in it to this day. And I think it's been probably one of the best things I've done in my life, especially turning 30 this year. It feels like there's a lot to reflect on leading up to where I'm at now and why I think the way that I think. So therapy's helping me put those thoughts in perspective. I was the last one in the group to leave a full-time job and really jump in and go all in on this venture, starting a business, a corporation with my four best friends. And yeah, now it's 2023 and we survived everything from the pandemic, not being able to sell anything, lockdowns, inventories, issues, like just so many things that we had to overcome that when I signed up for it back in 2019, I wouldn't have known where it was going to take me and taking that risk. But yeah, since 2019, we haven't looked back, and now we're trying to be one of the biggest vintage suppliers in all of Canada. And it's not easy with like a small team, but again, going back to those pillars that I talked about, the four partners I have are like the most solid people I have around me. Sometimes I do feel like there's a lot of pressure, like living up to a name like that, but knowing who I am and my team, and we're actually like, out there in the streets talking to people, helping community. It's not about, just selling the Travis Scott look to people that want to be trendy. It's actually about like, helping the mom that's only got $100 to spend on 6 kids, blessing her with 10 pieces for free or store credit, those type of things. Like I look back at my mom when she was struggling and I was like, I wish there was a street culture. I wish Josh could bless me with the prices that he's giving me, because that's the shit. Like 10 years from now, the 14-year-old fan of mine, the kid that goes to his mom like, no, I gotta go see Josh, and he's coming into the store lit up. That's like, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. No corporation could buy us, no, nothing. Probably more fulfilling than the paycheck from the business. Honestly, like if I know that I could help out one parent every week, that makes whatever the sales on Shopify or whatever the business is doing, I don't care. I'm like, help somebody out that I know my mom would appreciate when I was in that same position. So it's like, it's very emotional because even when I tell my mom about it, she knows that's who I am as a person, like my values, like I want to just give, give, give. yeah, sometimes it sucks though, because you give too much and it bites. So I'm learning to, pick and choose who I'm giving that energy to. Yeah. When I feel like I've given out too much, and then it really hits me like a punch in the mouth. Like, yeah, you know what? That you got to learn and stop being so nice. And I think it's you have to be selfish. But the one thing I'm learning is that accountability and boundaries are like my new big thing. So setting boundaries as to whether I'm giving too much time, too much energy, or if I don't have the capacity, just learning to be straight up like, hey, I can't do it, or that my peace of mind is actually worth more than trying to give someone the impression they have of me. My mom is my best friend, honestly. Like, there's so much that I've learned from her growing up and watching her trials and tribulations and what she sacrificed to be able to raise me to be who I am, and the fact that she's still around to be able to, witness everything I'm doing. And every now and then I call her and she treats me like a rock star, and sometimes it's overwhelming because it's like, damn, that's the love I know that I've been feeling. But to hear it from her, it's always been like a huge confirmation. Like, yeah, you know what? I can do anything knowing that this woman believes in me. So, yeah, she's like my everything. Yeah. Some of those moments that I have fondest in my memory are traveling to places and being surrounded by flowers and trees and different areas. Like, as much as I'm an earth sign and all these things, but I feel like when I'm around nature, I feel like it's healing. You could go into nature with no headphones and find a song. Like the stream, the birds chirping, it's its own. You're only hearing that right then and there because you're in that moment. That's your moment to hold. And I feel like nature's been a very healing thing for me. So now with spring being around the corner, there's going to be more time to be outside and actually enjoying those moments. But that's one thing I think of whenever it's not having a camera aside, it's just being in nature. It's very healing. Yeah, going to the countryside and like sharing the coffee with all the neighbors. And yeah, because when I was doing that, it was remarkable. You're going in these little shed huts, bringing over some cheese and a couple of things, and people are so grateful for the fact that you've brought this over to cook. Now they've cooked, you have to be there. Now you have to have coffee. It's like you don't leave here without having coffee, even if you're just popping in or whatever. It's like that type of community love. It's like, yeah, you're not gonna get that walking around here. No one's gonna ask you even to, hey, you want to go sit down and have a coffee? It's like everyone's so go go go. It's like that's too much time. So I feel like, yeah, just to, I don't know, I feel like it'll all align to like where I talk about with that disappearing to the rainforest. It's like it could be a rainforest in Dominican at this point, like, and just gone for 5-6 days and just, yeah, connecting with nature and healing and experiencing like ancestors. Like that's what I think is a big thing, is like I want to connect with my ancestors and roots and learn the stories of like my grandma while she's still around. It's like I want to hear those stories and have something to pass on from years from now. It's because if I don't, then what am I going to do? Just keep working and then eventually regret not making the time for it. Honestly, at this point in my life, I just want to be like walking through a rainforest, talking to tribes, a camera, no cell phone, no Wi-Fi, no nothing, and just, again, connect with people through the things that I know I love to do, and do more of that in whatever way that is, whatever country that is. And yeah, just connect with people through art, through the lens of my own perspective and everything that I've seen growing up now. Like I want to go and show that to the world, and tell more people my story. I think that's a big part of it too. I want to be able to share my experience with mental health, with running a business, being passionate about your art, your craft, balancing relationships, friendships. Like I want to find that harmony of what makes me who I am. Even just personal projects for certain things and creating mood boards of what the type of style that I see myself creating in. And actually taking inspiration and then following through with it, because it's one thing to just go out and gather inspiration, but it's actually taking the steps or the boundaries and the accountability to for myself to actually go out there and do it. And it's starting, and I'm actually starting to see the benefits of it, doing certain things for myself without telling anyone. And it's fulfilling, because at the end of the day, like, I have to spend 24 hours with me, so I'm gonna make sure I hold my own fulfillments and hold myself accountable for what I'm trying to do. People's opinions would always stop me from doing it, because otherwise I would just do it for myself and it's done. But I feel like also with other responsibilities that you take on, you also know that you have to fulfill certain things before you can just, disappear to the rainforest for 5 days with no phone. But that's like ultimately my goal right now, is to, and I think the people who are closest to me, the ones, my strongest pillars, those people all know that, like, I'm gonna be disappeared in the rainforest too. So it's just doing that work as well, and then eventually we'll be just, yeah, out there doing what I love to do. Damn, if I had one thing to say, just to any men out there, just look into therapy, because it's, as someone being a testimony to it, it wasn't easy to get there. But once I got there, I can't look back as to what I've learned from it. And it's changed my way of thinking and has brought me even to a point where I'm sitting here talking about, my mental health and all the fucked up things I've been through. But I'm still balancing it out with a business and as a creative and friends and family relationships. It's like, if you can look at anyone and be like, okay, shit, never had someone tell me that I can go to therapy. Let me tell you, you can go to therapy and it'll do something for you.